Good day and I love you. I'm Heather Peterson Lockhart and the Chiefess. I'm going to talk to you today about a particular process of healing called cellular release. Collectively, humanity is related, connected through the innate web of collective consciousness, of creation, the law of one. As we are connected to everything on this planet. And our beautiful planet has decided to ascend, to increase in vibration. And so all of her creatures are invited to participate in the process. The planet beneath our very feet is actually increasing in vibration. There is it's referred to as the Schumann resonance. The Earth used to emit a frequency between 6 and 8 hertz, referred to as the Schumann resonance. And that number, or that amount, that degree, has been increasing now for quite some years. And so the creatures that are of the Earth and living in nature by the laws of nature are adjusting each day, recalibrating each day, doing just fine. Most of humanity has chosen to take a different route, and we are living in disconnect from the Earth. And so many of us are energetically frying out. We're feeling filled with anxiety. We're meeting our worst fears right now. We are just really feeling like times are tough, which is by design, and it is divine. And even though it looks like the crap hitting the fan in front of our faces, it's truly a beautiful gift. To be given the opportunity to meet and greet the things that we are doing and inviting and participating in that are making our souls sick. To be shown that, to have those things illuminated and brought into the light, which feels like the shit hitting the fan, which feels like, oh my God, my darkest closet just got busted wide open. You know, nobody wants those things to happen, but it's a gift. It's a gift because if we do meet and greet those things, show up and take care of them, we get to let go of them. We get to release these struggles, these dynamics, these beliefs, these choices and relationships forever. You know, we can do this on the individual and the collective level. And when this happens on the individual and the collective level, we go through cellular releases. Some of you have heard the term Akash. I'm making all of these terms very general here. The Akash would be like the Grandmaster Records, the big record hall. Oh, there's a beautiful bug there. It's the roots, the lineage of all souls, all lives, and how they interconnect, how they reap karma, how they flow like a web. And we have issues and struggles and points for liberation in each line, in each family line. You know, it's the sins of the father. You know, we don't, the easiest way to explain it with skin on it is to say, if I don't deal with an issue, I'm going to teach it to my kids, right? So even if I don't think it's there, if I'm not dealing with an issue, well, then I'm operating in it. And if I'm operating in it, then by default, my behavior is teaching those around me, those beneath me, this behavior, this way of existing. So these thought patterns and these beliefs and these ways of existing get handed down through lines, and they become our Akash, our lineage, our records. And so when a soul or group of souls or the collective is able to meet and greet and deal with and heal from an issue, it becomes called transmutation. We transmute it. And when we transmute it, we release it on a cellular level. And that is what's going on today for a whole lot of people that are tuned in. Many use the terms empaths and intuitives and psychics and stuff. I used to as well call myself those things, but today I'm leaning away from those terms because what I'm understanding is that each and every soul, each and every human has the ability to evolve self, to embody each of those facets of being. So it's not so much that someone's an empath. It's that someone has decreased X amount of resistance so that they can tune in an empathic way. And of course there would be different degrees of that, you know. How much resistance do we remove? How much of the light, the love, the good can we allow in? And of course we increase in capacity. We involve our DNA, study epigenetics, in this very way. So anyway, that's a whole nother video. So those that are doing the soul work, those that are tuned in, are really feeling this. Women collectively are really feeling this in a lot of ways. You know, right now, y'all, we're being shown that our children aren't safe. We're being shown that as a collective society that, I mean, that's what, look at all the issues right now on the table that involve children. I mean, in the United States, for the love of God, children being separated from parents. And you know, if you're in Camp Chiefess and you watch my videos, watch the video on plucking splinters. That's what these are. The splinters have to get really, really nasty so that we'll really pay attention. So on the collective, these issues are being brought to the table, brought to the forefront, illuminated, so that we can take a look at them. And you know, because that's really what happens with us. I mean, I'll speak for myself. Shit has to get so rank and so bad before I'm going to do something about it, right? Otherwise, I'm just like, well, it's not that bad, it's not that bad. I mean, I had years of alcohol, drug addiction, and you name it like that. So that's what's going on right now. And the way that a lot of us women specifically are feeling it, well, men too, but in the female body, many of us are having irregular menstrual cycles right now. We're having a lot of pain with the menstrual cycles. We're having soreness, achiness, heaviness in our breasts. Our physical bodies are paying attention to these issues. I personally, you know, I wrote recently about meeting my Pluto. I've been doing a lot of release on the cellular level with shame, lifelong shame, and shame that's been there in my Akash, in my lineage. You know, this is deep stuff. This is family patterns and family beliefs. And so when I released these issues, you know, I mean, yesterday, part of the day, I mean, it felt like an LSD trip. You know, I'm a recovering drug addict. I remember driving one time, tripping on acid, and the lines on the side of the road were floating away like ribbons. I remember saying to myself, well, they look pretty, but you know, if you cross them, you're gonna die. You have a lot of people in the car that you love. I was always designated driver because I could always see the reality in front of my face. That I knew that was what was going on in front of my face, but I knew that wasn't necessarily the whole truth. Do you know what I mean? It was a version of the truth. And that's what, you know, that's what this feels like when I'm releasing beliefs that have been the truth my whole life, and have been the truth for many in my family. And then when you're deciding it's not the truth anymore, it's like, you know, it's a cellular purge. It feels like having my blood pulled out. I'm making this video now because this is the process I'm coming out of. It's hard to breathe. That's why I want to share, because I know many are in it. And the things that are the most useful for me, let me stay on this real quick. It feels like it's hard to breathe. It makes me nauseous. It can mess up my equilibrium. Sometimes right after, like, if I've been writing or journaling or, you know, meditating or doing work where I have a, you know, or I'm doing an energetic healing, something where at that moment it is a concentrated release, if you will, then often afterwards I have an adrenaline dump. My fingertips get cold. You know, I'm cold, but I'm sweating. And it's like that, you know, it's that stink sweat when you're stressed out. You know, your endocrine system, your adrenals are fired up, and it's a different response. Similar to when people come out of anesthesia, or just have some, you know, traumatic experience, and they're fine, and then there's a crash afterwards. Much like that. So during these times, I really do a lot of work to take care of myself, and I really, really, really take it back to basics. And I make sure that I get my feet on the ground, and I balance that overly positive ionic charge that's going on right now. Especially, I mean, we're in the middle of eclipse season. That's another reason I wanted to make this video. This week coming up is going to be a firecracker. And I really believe that the only way to approach this week is to understand that everything's for our greatest good. To become really good at catch and release, understanding that my dog is doing something she's not supposed to be doing, and just understanding that, you know, we're right where we're supposed to be, and that if we're being shown anything, that we can greet it, and we can meet it, and we have the ability, because it is being shown to us in divine timing, to choose behaviors and choices that are better for us. So in order for me to do that, to keep my biology balanced so I can make good spiritual, emotional, logical choices, I get out every day, I touch the ground, and I balance some of the overly positive ionic charge that's going on right now. Astrologically, we're all charged up. Humans are overly fired up. So I touch the earth, and I soak up some of those electrons, and I balance. I biologically, electronically, yes, we are electronic energetic beings, balance. I make sure that I eat every 2 to 3 hours. I'm vegan, so I eat a wide balance of foods that include you know, plant-based protein sources, lots of legumes, and I make sure that I have lots of colors in my food, because the more color you have, the more good stuff you're putting in your body, and the more good stuff you're putting in your body, the more balanced our mood's going to be. I drink lots of clean water. I make sure I get some sunshine every day, and I take at least, I'm trying to think what the bare minimum would be, 10 minutes a day to sit quietly and disconnect from the conscious stream and flow of what is. I take a heck of a lot more than that. But if we're starting out in terms of bare necessities, bare essential, you know, what you absolutely got to do, just take 10 minutes and sit outside or listen to some music that you find soothing, and allow your brain to disconnect. And if you find yourself thinking about the stuff that's getting you wound up, just reset. You know, there can be a little character in your mind with a great big paintbrush broom that pushes some paint, and you can always call on that little character to just push some paint and then blot out the canvas, make it a solid color, start over. That's the way I suggest it for little people, and I find it best just to keep it simple, even for big people. So that's a wonderful way to start out and just to balance our biology. This week I would say it's imperative. If we really want to show up at our highest, then we have to balance the beautiful being we came in. You know, all this knowledge and wisdom and truth and cosmic connection is wonderful, but what does it matter if you are in a biological being on planet Earth that is zung up with anxiety and spun up with struggle and zinged out with depression? What you gonna do that, huh? So we got to bring it back to basics and balance our biological beings so that we can show up and do the best for ourselves and the collective in a spiritual fashion, because we are spiritual creatures in this beautiful human experience together. Thank you so much for joining me If you're interested in speaking with me or working with me, please go to www.thechiefess.com and send me an email. I love you.